What does the title UNESCO City of Literature mean to Edinburgh?
Well, Edinburgh, of course, was the very first UNESCO City of Literature, and so it really feels it's got a special place, and I think deservedly so, because it's got a literary history that goes way, way back, Scott Stevenson and everything, right back in time. And so for the people that live there, the literature is kind of living around us in a sense, even though it's the past, but UNESCO has really helped bring it right alive. And for the living writers and readers, it's a very vibrant city, and thanks a lot to the efforts of the UNESCO team there.
I think in Dublin there's always been so many people writing and producing literature. There are so many writers, so many poets, so many fiction writers, publishers, booksellers working tirelessly all the time. And it's incredible to have that support from UNESCO. The city is recognised, and the City of Literature offices in Dublin works tirelessly to support the writers and publishers and booksellers in our city.
And how has being a City of Literature impacted on your career?
In my career, well, I ended up writing 2 books that I don't think I would otherwise have written, because though I was born in the city, I've actually lived most of my life in various places abroad, and only came back to the city recently. And I was when I was made the Macker, as we call it there, Poet Laureate, I suddenly looked at the city in a way I'd never looked at before, and no longer taking it for granted, the kind of, God, here's another historical scene where Stevenson did this or Walter Scott did that, or here's an ancient cobble or something, and I suddenly looked at it in a completely different way and ended up writing a book of poems that celebrate the city's past, its present, and also very surreally its future.
As a poet living and working in Dublin, it's been incredible to feel so supported, and poets in Dublin we're appreciated and we're respected, and it's something that's taken very seriously. But it's a real sense of community in Dublin for a poet, and I think the UNESCO City of Literature is a huge part of that.
Does a sense of place inform your work?
I think it does now. It didn't used to. When I was younger, I didn't study literature. I've always read, but I studied philosophy, and I was really interested in the universal and the abstract and all this sort of stuff. And it's only as I've got older that I've really begun to appreciate place. Scotland and its weather, stuck with it, but somehow it's me. And having said that, I'm married to a Swiss lady. So we spent half the year in Switzerland having a kind of different kind of lifestyle. But the Scotland part of it has become more and more important to me as I've gone on. And reinforced by the Macker position, Edinburgh itself has become very, very important. I really feel I belong. And I think that's a large in part because of that post that I was honoured to occupy. And it doesn't really come down on one side or the other, but it's really just about saying that no matter what happens, none of us are going to be the same after your work.
For me personally, yes and no. I think even poems that don't necessarily have place in them, they're always going to be informed by the places that they were written, the places that they were inspired, the places that the writer was living while they were writing them. For example, my book is set mainly in rural Ireland, but it was written entirely in Dublin. And if it wasn't for the community of writers that I was involved with that were working and producing their own work, they were so inspirational and so supportive, and I think that really helped to birth those poems through. The name escapes my mouth with a hiss. It burns my lips like a first kiss.
The woods late at night with a spade to bury him, because right now we just like things the way they are.
Share them out. Does mine taste different? What's yours? As the birds hop and dip and sprinkle their notes.